You know that feeling when you wake up, you open the curtains, you're really excited to get out for a ride, but it's raining. Well, I've got 7 hacks that'll make riding in the rain more enjoyable for you. There's nothing worse than getting soggy feet, and shoes, especially mountain bike shoes, often take ages to dry. So a great hack that you see a lot of the pro downhillers using as well is using some duct tape, taping it across the laces, and it gives them a bit of a waterproof protection. Likewise, you can also take out the sole, and you can put some where the cleat is, and that will stop that water getting in and really just soaking the bottom of the shoe. One of the most annoying things about riding in the mud is that mud flinging up off the front wheel and hitting you right in the face. Goggles and glasses can only do so much, but it's going to come up and over, and it's probably going to get over your peak. So an old favorite, a lot of downhillers use it, is actually using a goggle lens, strapping it onto the front of your peak, whether it be a full face, an open face, and that just extends that peak, stops the mud flicking down, and hopefully you'll get clearer vision. Another problem with riding in the wet weather is that once your glasses start to get wet, they just constantly steam up, and unless you've got free flowing air coming and hitting them, they're not actually going to demist. So when you're not riding, if you just use a bit of blue roll, toilet roll, kitchen roll, something like that, you can actually just wrap them up, fold the legs over, and you can just pop that in your goggle bag, or alternatively a plastic bag, and by the time you get to the top of the trails, hopefully they won't have misted up and you'll be ready to go again. Take plenty of tissue with you, and you can just give your glasses or goggles a wipe at the bottom and the top of the trail, and you'll get clear vision for the descent down. A top tip that you see especially a lot of the World Cup mechanics doing is using something like a bike spray or a silicone-based spray, spraying onto a rag, not really onto the bike because you can actually affect the disc brakes, and they give the likes of the down tube a good coating in it. And what that's going to do is, especially off the front wheel, that mud that collects up, gathers along here, it's not going to stay on the same. Hopefully it's going to drop off. Likewise, right there across the areas on the seat stays as well. It's going to stick away, and when you come to wash your bike as well, the mud's just going to fall off. It's not going to leave that horrible muddy residue that you see, especially on matte painted bikes. To enhance your vision on the bike, you can actually use a mud guard. Mud flicks off the tire through this gap in the fork up here, and it just covers your eyes, goggles or glasses. You can actually use mud guard like this. You can also get a longer one that comes down to the fork, longer one out here. You can actually make these your own. They're quite simple to do, just plastic. Be careful when you do cut it out, and just use a few zip ties to attach it onto the fork. Likewise, you could actually use an inner tube and stretch it from your lures onto the crown of the fork. And if you're really pernickety about getting a wet back, then you could use something like an ass saver, and that's going to hopefully help keep you dry, especially if you're doing long miles on the bike. Going out in this weather is absolutely fine and it's all good, but you need to accept that you are going to get wet, but you don't want to get cold. And the secret to this is layers. I'm going to start off, I've got this mountain bike specific base layer. It's a wicking material, so when I do start to get a bit sweaty, it's not going to get really wet. I'm going to top that off. I'm going to put my normal riding jersey over that. And then the next layer will be my waterproof jacket. No waterproof jacket is 100% waterproof. You're always going to get wet, but the secret to keeping warm, just accepting that you are going to get wet, but you can still have a lot of fun. Continuing on the theme of layers, I'm going to talk about gloves. You can put these surgical gloves on, and you can actually put them underneath your normal riding gloves, and it just acts like an extra layer. They're quite well insulated, going to keep your hands dry as well. One of the most important things for me is the feel in your hands, so you can really hold on to your grips. So when you're out riding still, you can still push the limits of the bike and have a good time, but you're not absolutely freezing. You're not struggling to find that braking or your shifters in that case. So this is a really good hack for me, and I've used it several times when I've been racing in the Alps. So there you go, 7 different hacks to get you out riding in the rain, and hopefully you'll be having loads of fun and keeping warm and dry as well. For more great videos on GMBN, and especially one about vision, click up there for the mission control on vision. And if you click down there, you'll get to how to ride off-camber routes like a pro. And as ever, don't forget to click on the globe to subscribe. You get a great video every day of the week.